Chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, Material Nature, the Person, the Living Space. Arjuna said, "What is material nature? What is the person? What is the living space? Who is the experiencer of the living space? I wish to know this. What is a conclusion? And what is experienced, O Keshava, pretty-haired one?" The Blessed Lord said, "This, the earthly body, O son of Kunti, is called the living space. Those who are knowledgeable of this declare the person who understands this to be the experiencer of the living space. Know also that I am the experiencer of all living spaces, O man of the Bharata family. Information of the living space and the experiencer of it is considered by me to be knowledge. As for this living space, as for what it is, as for what kind of environment it is, as for the changes it endures, as to what causes it to change, as for he who is involved, as for his potential, hear from me on that in brief." This was distinctly recited many times with the various Vedic hymns and with the Brahma Sutras, conclusively with sound logic by the great yogi sages. The major categories of the elements, the personal initiative, the intellect, the unmanifested energy, the 10 and 1 senses, the 5 attractive objects, desire, hatred, pleasure, pain, the whole body, consciousness and conviction. This is described with brevity as the living space with its changes. Lack of pride, freedom from deceit, non-violence, patience, straightforwardness, attendance to a teacher, purity, stability, and self-restraint, indifference towards the attractive objects, absence of motivated initiative, the perception of the danger of birth, death, old age, disease, and suffering, social and emotional detachment towards child, wife, a home, and whatever is related to social life, being always even-minded towards what is desired and what is not wanted. Unswerving devotion to me, with no other discipline but yoga practice, reporting to a secluded place, having a dislike for crowds of human beings, constantly considering information about the Supreme Spirit, perceiving the value of the science of reality. This is declared as knowledge. Whatever is contrary to this is ignorance. I will explain that which is to be experienced, knowing which one gets in touch with eternal life. The beginningless, supreme reality is said to be neither substantial nor non-substantial. Everywhere is its hands and feet. Everywhere its eyes, head, and face. Everywhere is its hearing, ability in this world. It stands ranging over all. It has the appearance of having all sensual moods, and it is freed from sensuousness. Though unattached, it maintains everything. Though free from the influence of material nature, it is the experiencer of that influence nevertheless. It is outside and inside the moving and non-moving beings. Because of its subtlety, this beginningless supreme reality is not comprehended. This reality is situated far away, and it is in the location as well. It is undivided among the beings, but it appears as if it is divided in each. It is the sustainer of the beings, and this should be known. It is the absorber and producer. This is declared as the light of the luminaries, but it is beyond gross or subtle darkness. It is the information, the education, and the goal of education. It is situated in the psychological core of all beings. Thus, the psychological environment as well as the standard knowledge and what is to be known was described in brief. Experiencing this, My devotee draws near to my state of being. Know that both material nature and the spiritual personality are beginningless, and know that the changes of the living space and the moods of material nature are produced from material nature. Material nature is said to be the cause in terms of created work, sensual potency, and agency. The spiritual personality is said to be the cause in terms of experiencing pleasure and pain. The spirit, being situated in material nature, experiences the modes which were produced by that nature. Attachment to the modes is the cause of the spirit's emergence from realistic and unrealistic situations. The observer, the permitter, the supporter, the experiencer, the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Soul, as it is called, he is the highest spirit in the body. He who knows the spiritual person and material nature, along with the variations of material nature, is not born again, regardless of his present condition. Some perceive the spirit by the spirit through meditative perception of the spirit. Others do so with samkhya philosophical conclusions, and others by yogic disciplined action. But some, though they are ignorant, hear from others. They worship, and by their confidence in what is heard, they also transcend death. As for anything that is produced in this existence, be it a stationary or moving object, know, O son of the Bharatas, man of the Bharatas, that it is produced from a synthesis of the experiencer and the living space. The Supreme Lord is similarly situated in all beings without perishing when they disintegrate. He who perceives that really sees. Seeing the same Lord being situated everywhere, he does not degrade the soul by his own soul. Subsequently, he goes to the supreme destination. He who sees that in all cases the actions are performed by material nature, and who regards himself as a non-doer, truly sees. When a person sees that all the various states of beings are based on a single foundation, and only from that everything emanates, then he reaches the spiritual plane. Since this imperishable Supreme Lord is beginningless and devoid of the influence of material nature, even though he is situated in the material body, O son of Kunti, he does not act nor become contaminated. As by subtlety, the all-pervading space is not polluted, so the soul, though situated all over the body, is not affected actually. As the sun alone illuminates the whole world, O man of the Bharata family, so the user of the living space gives feeling to the entire psyche. Those who by intuitive perception know the difference between the living space and the experiencer, as well as the liberation of the living being from material nature, go to the Supreme. That was chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the Michael Beloved translation. If you would like to read his commentaries on these verses, please see Bhagavad Gita Explained. Thanks for listening.